Welcome to this Workout Wednesday. My name is Roseanne, and I'll be guiding this Pilates class, full body workout that will feature the use of blocks or eggs, okay, foam ones if you have them, okay, and balance will be a feature today in the beginning of class. So if you have your blocks or books that are the same size, place them at the end of your mat. You could even have your mat short end to me. So short end this way, okay? Blocks on the end, because then you'll be able to see a lot of this sequence, a lot of this class today, okay? So you could be turned toward your blocks. I'll face you here for now. Plant those feet, roll the shoulders back one time and extend the arms directly from the shoulder. One arm back, one arm forward. Just slice the air here as you find your breath. Tick-tock the arms. And add on. Rotate toward the right and return. Rotate left and return. The other arm can just stay extended. So rotate upper spine, pelvis faces forward. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more each side. Last time. Nice. Both arms reach up, circle them one time. Enhance the pelvis, bend to straight with the legs. Find your footing here. Try to keep tall spine for this variation. Let's do 3. 2, spread the toes. Last one. Nice. Stand tall and then bend from the waist. Exhale to rise. Inhale, bend from the waist. Exhale, rise like a straight-legged deadlift. Just pivot. Trying to keep the legs in alignment with the hips. So we're not sending the booty far back. Let's do 3, 2. Last one. Stand up nice and tall, bend those knees, and then add a little bit of a semi-pivot, and then press up, okay? Keep that little pivot forward now as you bend to straight. The hips traveling back in space. Let's do 3, 2. Last one, stay in the squat, round the spine, and arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Cat-cow standing. Strong belly button towards spine when you round. Let's do 2 more. Last one, roll up, arms reach. Hands can interlace behind the skull here. Reach up and back with the upper spine and return. So it's like you're lifting up and over a beach ball and return. Inhale, extend. Exhale, return. Head presses into hands. Hands press back gently. Let's do 2 more. Last one, extend. And now curl in on yourself just with the upper body. And stack the spine. Curl. Strong exhale. You can make this work for you. Inhale tall. With that strong exhale, that's how you get the core to activate. Let's do 3, 2. Like your upper spine's a candy cane. Top of the candy cane. Last one. Nice. Release those arms. You'll want to be close to your blocks here. Hands to your sides. Dip the chin. Start to roll down through upper spine. Mid-spine. Low spine until you find the fold. Breathe here and rock forward and back on the feet. More weight in the balls of the feet now. And take one of those blocks in your hands. Inhale here. And exhale, start to stack the spine. Slow, slow, slow. Those arms will reach up. Bend the elbows. Bring that block behind the skull, not the neck, but the skull. Okay. Press the head into the hands and release. Head into hands and release. Here, this will look lovely. But make this little double chin. Okay. Double chin. That's what you're going for here. This draw back of the skull directly back. Strong necks here. Let's do 5, 4. Rest the body still. 3, 2. The last one, keep some sense of press back as you extend up and over that beach ball again and return. Up and over and return. Just do 3, 2. Last one. Come to neutral spine as those arms reach overhead. Press and squeeze in on the block and then bend those elbows. So press and squeeze and bend. So the whole time, keep the squeeze. Okay. The more you squeeze, the more tricep activation, arm activation you will get. This can be made challenging. Try to press evenly. If not, the block will try to wobble, like mine just did a little while ago. Trying to keep it nice and steady. Let's do 3, 2. Really squeeze in and then up. Last one. Nice. Then draw the block toward your chest and place it on your right hip. Here, press the block into your side and your side presses back. Just like the sense of everything squeezing in. Squeezing in. We're getting to the balance part. Okay. One more squeeze. Maintain that sense of squeeze and lift the opposite knee and make circles with the hip. You need a wall, go over to a wall. Woo. Trying to keep the sense of press and hug. Woo. Reverse directions of your circles. Find a point that's not moving. 2 more. The last one. Now open that knee to the side, trying not to lean toward the right. It's tough though, but try to keep nice and tall as you open and close that left leg. Your standing leg will be working here quite a bit. Halfway there. We have 4, 3, 2. Hug everything in. Last one. Pause. And then return. And then hug that knee toward chest and sweep the leg back with the knee bent. Hug toward chest. Sweep it back while trying to keep tall spine still. You have 4 more. 3, 2. Last one, hug, then send that leg back. Plant the ball of the foot. Take the block into the hands, okay? Lift it up in alignment, hopefully upper arms in alignment with the ears. Lengthen the front leg and bend. Lengthen and bend. Let's do 2 more. Last one, lengthen, bend, take the block. If you can take both blocks from where you are. And hop or hop, hop, hop that back leg in, lift it nice and high. Blocks can walk forward. Point the back toes. Okay. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Other leg has a micro bend, just a mini bend in the knee. Trying to keep the body parallel for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that leg lifted. One block can come down, one block can go with you. Start to stand if you can and draw that left knee in toward the chest. Okay. Then lengthen that leg out. Maybe the block comes overhead. Return to the knee hug as you come tall. Lengthen that leg as the body goes to parallel. Reach the block in front. And continue here. You might wobble. Might set that toe down at various points. That's okay. Ooh, that standing leg has been working a while. You got this for 4. That's a slow 4 though. 3. 2. Last one, draw in and then arrive at standing. Block reaches overhead. Squeeze in on it, tricep press and lengthen. So bend the arms and lengthen. Make it work for you. Squeeze, 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 and it will. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, press up. Return the block behind the head, extend. And this time also round. Press into block, extend, and curl to round. Do one more like this. We'll return to it later. Extend that block overhead, inhale. Exhale, that block comes to your left side this time. Press and hug everything in. And soften just a little bit. Hug. And soften. Now the sense of length. Keep the squeeze. That right knee bends and make some circles here. Nice, just a few more. 3, 2. Last one, nice job. And then circle it forward and back and around. See if you can get the back part of that circle. Ooh, without too much lean. 3, 2. Last one. And then leg out to side and return. Lift and lower. You'll be so strong and so balanced after this class. We have 4, 3, 2. Last one out to side, and then hug the knee into chest, and leg goes back with the knee bent. Keep that sense of press. Do your best here. The tough one. And we have 4, 3, 2. And last one, lengthen that leg back, plant the ball of foot, bend the front knee. And that block can come in front, maybe even overhead. Okay, could stay at this heart center too. Lengthen front leg and bend. Lengthen and bend for 5, 4. Knee tracks line with second and third toe. I forgot what number I'm at. 3. 2. Last one, lengthen, rebend. Take both blocks under the hands, maybe highest height. With that front knee bent, hop or step the back leg in, lift it up, adjust as you need here. Head in line with spine as you lower and lift the back leg. Keep the leg as long and straight as a leg can be. We have 4, 3, 2. The last one like this. Okay, then set one block down, bend the knee, and see if you can come to stand. Woo! Send that leg long as the arms maybe reach overhead or stay at heart center. Okay, and hug that knee in as you stand tall. Block to chest, and then reach everything long, and everything draws in. We are halfway there. Here's 4. Nice and slow. 3. Remember that length. 2. And last one, lengthen. Return, feet side by each, block overhead behind the skull, press the skull into the block and extend and then round. Extend and round. Use the exhale. This can be powerful. That curl can be powerful. Let's do 2 more. One more time, reach those arms up as you squeeze in on the block. See if you can tuck the chin and maybe with arms lifted, start to dive forward with the upper body. Bend the knees if you need and continue to roll down through the spine. Halfway lift, inhale, and exhale to fold. Bend those knees, have a seat. And if you'd like to use blocks, take one between the thighs and find what width works best for you. Okay. And then one block between the hands. And arms extend and return. Arms reach and return as you squeeze in on the block between the thighs. And block out in front, round through low spine as you squeeze in on that block between thighs. And lift, round, and lift. Let's do 3, 2. Last one, stay curled back. And now lift and lower the arms. Lift and lower. 3, 2. Last one, curl in on yourself a little deeper. And then roll all the way back. Slide those feet in just enough so that the legs are grounded. Reach the block overhead and return to shoulder height. Again, reach overhead and return. Try to keep the ribs gliding toward the pelvis. We're going to add on here. Last one, overhead, and then upper ab curl. Inhale, lower, and reach. Exhale, curl. Up and in. Heavy pelvis. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Nice work. Arms can reach overhead for just a moment. And then back in alignment with the shoulders. Heavy the backs of the shoulder blades onto the earth. Arms can stay where they are as you either just come onto toes and then heels, toes, heels, or lift those legs to tabletop and lower partway down. Lift and lower. Squeeze in on the blocks. You might lower your legs further than I do. Whatever works for your low back so that it's not moving. So we stay in natural curves as much as we're able. Use that exhale to lift those legs for 3, 2. Last one. Nice. Set those feet down, roll up through the spine, and then lower back down as the arms reach overhead, and then press the pelvis up. So as a unit, lower the pelvis, reach arms overhead, and press. You can even bring the block right to the thighs if you want. So open up the hip flexors before we combine 2 of those previous movements. 3, 2. Last one. Nice. Arms can reach overhead. And as you exhale, curl and lower. And if you'd like, lift the legs the next time you curl and lower part way. The tricky part here is trying to keep the low back a neutral curve, so natural curves. Let's do 4, 3, 2. And for the last one, stay up. If you haven't lifted the shins, lift the shins and press the block in the hands into the shins and the shins press back. So if you can curl a little deeper here in on yourself, start to roll, rock up and down the spine just a little, squeeze and curl in on yourself and then roll up. See if you can keep the legs hovering and see if you can roll back and roll up. Woo. Roll back and roll up. Keeping, if possible, see, I'm shifting a bit here, the distance between the shins and the thighs the same, and the arms as well, if possible. Press the shins back into the block. So the block presses into them. Woo, let's do 2. Rolling like a ball. Last one. Nice. Ground those feet. Take those blocks behind the body. Fingertips on the blocks. Okay. You could stay here opening across the chest or lift those hips. Dip and lift. So just the hips here, lift and lower. okay? Or lift the hips. And then as you sweep the hips, you lower the hips, sweep them back, lengthen the legs. Rebend the legs, hips go high. And sweep the hips back, legs go long. It's a variation of tendon stretch. But here we get a lot of work into arms, into center body, everywhere really. Let's do 2 more. The last one. See if you can round through those spine. And then press the hips nice and high, bend the elbows, and then lengthen. Bend to straight. Tricep stretch here, or tricep dips here. Elbows go directly back. Bottom might tap and lift, tap and lift for 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one. Lower the pelvis down. Circle those arms. Hold. Roll up through the spine. Arms reach overhead and back to your sides. Reach overhead and back to your sides. One more reach. Hold. Hands slide in. And here we go again. Hands, that's more of a break. Hands onto those blocks here. Bend those knees. Lift the hips high. Now we could do what we did before. Okay, so start with that. Legs go back, or legs go long as the hips draw back. And press hips forward and up. Okay, so here we go. Just stay here. Okay. Or next time the hips dip, bend the elbows and lengthen the arms as you lift the pelvis. Draw yourself back slightly as you bend the elbows and dip the pelvis and then lift it up. So it's like this little tiny circular movement, combining some tricep here into the exercise. Let's do 2 more. The last one. Nice. Lift the hips a little higher, press through the hands, open the shoulders, and see if you can walk the blocks forward. So you land in a bit of a squat at the front of your mat. Lengthen those legs as you adjust so that you land in a plank with the knees probably down, okay, but you can keep them lifted if you'd like. Press into those blocks and then draw the shoulder blades toward one another and then press away. So it's just shoulder blades moving along the back, squeezing toward one another. Just a few of these. 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one. Nice. Press back almost into child's. Stretch those hands and then return forward with the body. Bend the elbows, tricep push-up, and hips. Tricep push-up and hips back. You like this. Let's do 2 more. Lots for triceps today. Last one. Good work. Now, some time in our all fours position here. Let's take that left leg out to the side and return. Out to the side and return. Kind of like some of what we did earlier, standing. We have 4, 3, 2. Last one, leg out to side. Extend and bend. Extend and bend for 3, 2, 1, set that foot down. That left arm can rotate open and then thread it underneath the right arm rather. You can bend the right elbow as needed. Reach and thread. And see if you can press through that left foot. One more time, reach that arm up. Turn your torso back toward the earth as you plant that left hand. Lift and lower left leg. 3, 2, 1. Keep it lifted, sweep it in behind and across to the right hand side. Plant the ball of the foot. Perhaps look to the foot for a moment and return your gaze to center. Let's lift that leg back up to side and back and across. Trying now to keep the hips relatively still. Rainbow legs here. Three more. 3, 2. Press evenly through blocks. I laugh because that's not what I'm doing. Last one. Out to side, leg directly in behind. And lower the toes and lift the leg. Lower and lift. Pointed or flexed ankle. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, lift and lower that foot right back down. Perhaps both knees lift off the earth into a plank and pike the hips up. Roll forward with the body. Maybe you lower the knees. See if you can lower all the way down to your belly and take those blocks out in front of you. Back extension here. Press into blocks as you lift up and lower. So you can make use of the blocks here. As you firm up through the legs. Let's do 3, 2. Last one, slide those shoulder blades back along the back. Just for a moment. Good. And release that. Take one block underneath the forehead. Arms in cactus or 90-degree position. So 90-degree bend in the arms. Roll the shoulders back. Keep the head where it is. Lift the arms. And then lower the arms to hover. Lift and lower. Continue here. Trying to get those shoulder blades to draw toward one another. Let's do 3, 2. Last one. Now we can add on. So roll those shoulders back, reset here, roll shoulders back, lift the arms, lift the upper spine if you'd like to add that, and then lower to hover. Just let that forehead just barely tap that block. Let's do 3, 2. Belly button's light on the mat. Last one. Nice. Extend one arm and return. Other arm and return. Feel those shoulder blades move along the back. Maybe you stay in the extension. Maybe you lower the forehead. Let's do one more each side. Very nice. Lower that head if not already there. Working even more this area, the shoulder blade area. Lengthen those arms out with the head grounded. Lift the arms. Oops, I got equipment in my way. And lower. lift, and lower. So long T arms. Have your fingers extended. Mine are just bent because there's things in my way. Continue to lift and tap. Squeeze and tap. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, maybe add the extension and lower. Lift and lower for 3, 2. Last one, nice. Sweep those arms back and then hands underneath the shoulders so that you can press yourself up and back into a child's pose. And then roll forward with the spine. Find those blocks underneath the hands again for the opposite leg. Okay. So find your position where you can firmly press into blocks. Those wrists and shoulders are in alignment. That right leg comes out to the side and returns. Out to side and returns. As you do this, try to keep the sense of hug through the left thigh in towards center. Think about when that block was on the outside of our leg as we were standing tall. Okay, the sense of hug and squeeze inward. We have 4, 3, 2. Last one, leg stays out, bend and straight. Bend to straight for 3, 2. Last ones, keep the leg out, plant the foot, right arm rotates, or rather you rotate from the shoulder, rotate open, and then thread that right arm underneath the left armpit. But here we do want this to come from the sternum, and the arm will follow. Let's do around 3. You can bend that left elbow if you'd like or not. 2. Last one, reach. Torso turns to face the earth as you replant that right hand. Lift that right leg and lower. Lift and lower for 3, 2. Last time, lift the leg, send it in behind, cross it over to the left-hand side, plant the foot for just a moment. We'll stretch for the neck as you look over the shoulder, return head to center, and then lift the leg, bring it up to the side to tap and across. Okay, so out to side, tap, and across. Trying to keep the hips from moving too much. Woo! We have 4, 3, 2. Last one, leg stays out to side, lift and lower for 3, 2. So much equipment in the way. Last one. Good. Leg sweeps back and behind, point the toes, lift and lower the long leg. Need a bigger living room. I need a bigger space. Let's do 4, 3, 2. Straight leg. Last one, lift, and then set the ball of the foot down. Find a plank if you'd like with both knees lifted for just a moment, and then lower, lower all the way down. Knees could come down. Lift up through the heart, roll the shoulders back, and slide the blocks back out in front. This time that left leg can lift and lengthen and lower. Other leg stretches long and lifts. Just continue to alternate legs. And if you'd like, you can add opposite arm to opposite leg. And you can do this with the hand empty, or you can clasp the blocks, lift one block up as the opposite leg lifts. Like that slight extra bit of weight. May or may not have blocks that are the right size for this. Usually they're turned narrow for this. Let's see if we can set them down at the same time. That's kind of tricky too. Lift at the same time, lower at the same pace. Lift at the same time, lower at the same pace. If you'd like to add an extension, you could extend every time your upper spine. Nice. And next time you lift one arm and one leg, stay lifted, and you can sweep that arm back and overhead. It could have no block in it, or because of the shape of mine, the block could stay in the hand. Let's do 3, 2. Last one, sweep, return, lower. Lift opposite arm and leg, sweep back, whoop, and return. Sweep back and return with a long arm. You see me bending my arms only because I have equipment in the way. Okay. So we have 4, 3, 2. Last one, reach back. And then sweep that arm forward, lower back down. Ha. Let's take one block under the head again and extend those arms directly from the shoulder. Lift and lower just as we did before. Okay. Let's do 3, 2. Last one, lift, sweep the arms back, lift your upper spine as well, and then return, head to block. Lift up, reach those fingertips back, and return arms out to side. I'm going to tap the forehead here. Let's do one more. Stay lifted if you can. Take the block in behind the body and give it a nice squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Lower. Good work. Now, take those blocks underneath the hands. See if you can press yourself up into this push-up position. Lift those knees if you'd like, or keep them grounded. One set of 5, 4, 3, and finish off those triceps. 2. Last one. Plank. Lift those knees if you can. Hips high, up stretch, top of up stretch, or down dog here. Press into the blocks. And then walk yourself forward. Widen the knees, widen the legs to sit yourself into a deep squat. Take just one block between the hands here on its widest width here, widest, on its widest. And then press. And return into the squat. Press up and find your squat. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Reach and return to the squat. You might want to widen your legs even more. Press in on that block and shift left and right. Shift left and right. Staying low, trying to travel on one plane so the head doesn't bob. Head kind of slices the air here. And then add a rotation. Rotate left, rotate right. Rotate left upper body, rotate right. Trying to keep the pelvis facing forward. Let's do one more each way. Last time, return to center, heel toe, those feet together, arms can reach overhead. And back and behind, open up across the heart and return, catching our breath. Extend and return. Let's just do 3, 2. Last one. And you could keep your arms back here as you sink the hips, okay? And then lengthen the arms as you stand. Bend the elbows, sink the hips, and then lengthen the arms to stand. Hands instead, okay? Could be at the chest, still squeezing in on block, more focused than on the pecs, pectoral muscles. Here we got some tricep going. Trying to keep the chin from jutting forward. Let's do 3, 2. Final time, stand tall. And then just the block comes behind the skull. Must be the skull here. Now, a little addition here. As you reach up and back, reach that left shoulder a little further behind you and return. Reach that right elbow and shoulder behind you and return. So rotate a little bit to the left as you extend. Rotate a little bit to the right as you extend. See if you can add some mobility to the upper spine, which has just a little bit, but we need it. A few more. Let's do one more each side. Final time. Nice. And then return to center, curl through the upper spine, reach those arms long, and then shine the crown of your head toward the earth as you fold forward. A block can land on the ground. Inhale here. And exhale to roll up through the spine. Arms can circle and hands to the heart center. Pause here and sense how you feel. Few stretches here. Take that left ankle. Reach that other arm out to the side or overhead. Press the pelvis forward. Then arm circles back. As the leg comes out in front, both arms reach. Flex through the ankle, cross it over the opposite one. Sink the hips back. For more balance here for a standing pigeon. Sink a little deeper. Maybe those hands reach toward the earth for a brief moment. And then lift the torso up. Arms can reach. Uncross that leg. Plant the heel. Fold. Hands to opposite thigh, perhaps. Draw that left hip back into its socket. Maybe explore the ankle a little. And slide that foot in. Roll up through the spine. Arms can circle. Take that left ankle, opposite arm out to side or overhead. Knees in alignment here. That left arm can sweep back. Both arms reach forward as you uncross that top leg, or that working leg, stretching leg rather, and flex the ankle, sink the hips down. Be hands to heart. Maybe a small lean forward. Arms reach up, uncross that leg, plant the heel, and then fold. Hands can come to opposite thigh again. Again, you could explore the foot. See how the ankle feels. And slide that foot in and roll up through the spine. Hands interlace or reach back. Open heart. Final fold as those knuckles might reach towards sky. Unleash the fingers to the earth. Hands to shins, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold and have a seat. Roll that head side to side. Notice how you feel here. And then, if it's in your practice, one circle with the arms and hands to your heart. Thank you for this Workout Wednesday. I'm glad you could join me today. If you liked this workout, please check out what the channel has. It has both yoga and Pilates. Take care.